Are you thinking about getting a dog? You're not a dog. She doesn't want to hang out with me anyways. Well, there's only one thing that you need to understand before you do that, and it will be the make or break for your decision. Nothing else matters. I got her again. Welcome back to Better Echoes, personal growth ideas to help uplift this cat. Welcome back to Better Echoes, personal growth ideas to help uplift the world. It's great to have you here. If you'd be so kind, please like the video or chime in with a comment down below. So, what's the most important thing to know before getting a dog? Get ready for some tough love. Smile and breathe. And just be. Let's dive in. So I'm not going to waste any of your time getting straight to the point in this video. That's how important this actually is. And here it is. You can never bail on that dog. Let me explain. Also, just so you know, this video can apply to cats or tiny hairy monsters that drink souls for a living and eat the flesh of the damned. That's you, right? You eat the flesh of the damned? Flesh. Back to the point. You know how sometimes your life gets a little bit crazy, more responsibility shows up, or something major changes? Well, you have to remember that those things can happen, and if they do, you still have a responsibility to the dog. You can't just offload the dog to a shelter because you made an impulse decision to get a dog and now it's inconvenient for you. Even if the inconvenience is a legitimate concern, it's probably still not something that you can justify abandoning your dog over. It's up to you to do all you possibly can to make it work. If things got tough for you, or you have to move, or your life changed somehow, that's understandable. But you chose to get this dog, and you need to find a way to bend over backwards to keep that dog and give it a happy life. Before you get a dog, you have to understand that no matter what, you are responsible for that dog. You cannot bail and dump them off at a shelter because that's what's most convenient for you at the time. It's not a leased vehicle. You can't just return a dog if you find out that you don't like it some years later. If someone can't commit to keeping and caring for a dog through whatever happens in their life, then they should not get a dog. It's just that simple. Before I go any further, I just want to jump in with an idea for the absolute worst case scenario. Now, I fully understand that sometimes in life we face trying times that are completely unforeseeable and next to impossible to navigate. Now, if your life goes in that direction and you feel like you really can't keep your dog, that's one hell of a conundrum. Firstly, please reconsider giving the dog up. But if you absolutely must give them up, literally no other option can be entertained, and it's truly the most loving option for that dog's life, then I implore you, try this first. Try talking to people around you and see if they can take the dog. Talk to family members, friends, or coworkers and see if anyone wants a fluffy little guy in their life. That's a great way to ensure that your pet finds a great new home, and it's 1,000 times better than hell. A shelter. Because a shelter can essentially be a death sentence in a lot of cases, and that's literally not a viable option. If you've ever faced some horrendous circumstances where you had to make the hardest decision of your life to give up your dog, I want to let you know that this video is not a shame video for you. I truly feel terrible for you that you had to make such an impossibly difficult decision like that. Again, I am not shaming you. That is not the point of this video. This video is to make sure that people don't just impulsively go out and get a cute little puppy because they're adorable. And then they realize that they're actually a lot of really hard work. And the second the going gets rough, just toss the dog into the shelter and think of it as sad that it didn't work out. Or even worse than that, toss the dog into a shelter and forget about the dog entirely. At the end of the day, it's your job, if you want to get a puppy, to make sure that you consider as much of your future as you possibly can before getting a dog. And seeing how you'll really respond to a terrible situation prior to getting a dog, not while you're in the situation. You shouldn't be in that situation thinking, what am I gonna do here? If you look at your future and think, in my worst case scenario, I wouldn't be able to keep this dog, then I'm sorry, but you should not get a dog. One thing you have to remember here is that if you drop your dog off at a shelter because they got inconvenient for you, they are not guaranteed to get adopted. They could just as easily be put down because the shelter is overrun with other animals. I'm not saying that happens every time, but it is a possibility. Or the dog may wither away there miserably because no one else can take them in. I'm not saying that that happens to every dog every single time. The dog could be adopted right away. That's perfectly feasible too. They might also sit in the shelter for a while, but there are times where they do get put down after some time. Don't let your inability to commit to the dog be the cause of that. You also can't abandon your dog when they get old. You signed up to take care of that dog for its entire life. And just because dogs can be tough to care for in their old age does not mean that you get to take the easy way out and dump them off at a shelter. When a dog gets old, things can get really difficult sometimes. Sometimes they might have trouble walking, or maybe they can't hear as well as they used to, so they can't heed your commands. They might go to the bathroom in the house. Maybe they smell a little bit funny, and they might need some extra medical attention, which is going to cost some money. But it's your responsibility to be patient with that animal and provide them with all of the love that they gave to you back when they were sprightly. You can't remove that dog from your life just because they got old. So dropping them off at a shelter should never be an option for an old dog because you can't handle it. They loved you forever. They just need a little bit more of your patience. Just give them that. Take a moment to hit that like button if your dog is your best friend. Before you get a dog, take a good, long look at your life. Are you going to be moving soon? Is your living situation unstable? Are you changing jobs, maybe? Do you travel for work? Are you going away to college soon? Did you just have a child? Do you take care of an elderly relative? All of these things could potentially be pretty complicated situations, and it might not be the best idea to add a dog to the equation at that time. Some people can handle it, but if someone didn't think that they could handle it, that would be a terrible time to take on the prolonged responsibility of getting a dog. It's okay if any of those reasons make someone a poor candidate for getting a dog. They just have to know that it means they can't get a dog right now. It is what it is. Wait until life stabilizes, and then go from there. Have you adopted a dog? Tell us below in the comments your dog's name, their nickname, and all their 48 other nicknames, and then give us a brief testimonial of how it is to own a dog in the comments below. So I hope by now we've established that you should not just go get a dog because they're cute without putting any kind of thought into it first. But what's the main reason that that's so important? Well, imagine this for a moment from the dog's point of view. You, the dog, finally found a home. You have a great life and an amazing family that you love. Then, one day, they just drop you off in a prison with a bunch of other scared dogs with absolutely no explanation, and you don't know this yet, but you will never see your family ever again. Is that fair to that dog? No, not at all. They bonded with you. They love you. They experience an unimaginable level of heartbreak when they're abandoned. And no one can explain any of this to them, so it's even more terrifying because they're in the dark about the entire thing. They'd probably spend all of their shelter time and probably even the rest of their entire lives wondering if it was something that they did that upset you, that made you put them through all of this. Someone should not get a dog if there's any possibility at all of having to abandon them in a shelter. Let that dog go to someone who can actually give them a stable and a long-term home with the guarantee of always caring for them no matter what. The dog deserves that. I totally understand that life can throw us curveballs, but that doesn't mean you can abandon the furballs. If you listen to this video and you realize that now isn't the right time for you to get a dog, then that's awesome. That's exactly what I was going for. Don't get me wrong. I want you to have a dog, but not if there's some chance that you'll have to send it back to some uncertain fate. On the other hand, if you've heard all of this and you have decided that you will never abandon that dog no matter what happens, then congratulations. You are a step closer to getting a dog. And if I may, I'd like to recommend getting your dog from a shelter. There's a dog in a shelter for some reason that was given up or rescued or found, and they would be eternally grateful to have someone like you make the commitment to them for the long term and to give them a loving and stable home. Adopt. Don't shop. Go rescue your future pet. Don't just buy them from a puppy mill. Tell me what's more interesting. I went to the puppy store at the mall and I bought this cute little dog. Or, this puppy was abandoned in a dumpster in a back alley. The rescue agency found him slapboxing a raccoon over a 3-day-old slice of pizza, so they saved him, nursed him back to health, and now my little Samson doesn't have a xylophone ribcage anymore. He turns 5 tomorrow. What story is better? What story do you want to be a part of? Shelter dogs can come from a rough history sometimes or some kind of painful past, but the amazing thing about shelter dogs is that they know they're being adopted. They have an understanding of that situation, even if it's simple, and they will love you so much for rescuing them from that prison and all the uncertainty and fear that they just experienced. All my people with adopted dogs know exactly what I'm talking about. I am one of them. My dog knows for sure that she was adopted. So do that if you're getting a dog. To sum it all up, do not get a dog if you can't promise that you'll keep them for the long haul no matter what happens. There is someone out there who can make that commitment to the dog, so let them do it. Your time to get a dog may not be now, it may not be soon, but that time may actually come in your life, and you should only do it if you can really commit to that dog. The dog deserves it, and you'll see why once you get one. Thanks so much for hanging out. There's a merch link below if you want to support the channel. Subscribe to join the Better Echoes movement, personal growth ideas to help uplift the world. Remember to do something that makes the world a better place this week. People need you. Be loving, strong, creative, and free. Be wise, be thankful, and be at peace. Smile and breathe. And just be. See you next time. It's a Benya, Baranichi Baba. She's sick of me. Oh, you gonna hang out for a second? You look like an owl.